Yup, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. This, like any story worth telling, is all about a girl. The girl who got away. Have you ever heard of the cat and the string theory? If you ever had a girl who seemed to like you, pull back and lose interest, and you couldn't figure out what happened, well, that was me, lying on the floor. If only I'd done the thing that I'm going to tell you about in a second, none of this would have ever happened. A female friend and her hot and cold behavior that had me spiraling out of control. A girl I spent a year chasing with flowers, sending drunk 2 a.m. texts, and one long, gushy, cringe-worthy email confessing all of my feelings that I want to puke just thinking about. And how watching a cat play with a piece of string led me to the secret that changed everything. The secret of female obsession. And a technique I discovered that's like a time machine that rewinds things right back to the beginning with her. Transforms you into the most important man in her life. The man she can't stop thinking about. The man she's suddenly obsessed with winning over. So, get a good picture of the girl you want in your mind, because I'm going to let you in on something every woman is secretly obsessed with and has the power to turn even the coldest girl into your loyal, loving girlfriend within weeks. My name is Bobby Rio, and I'm going to teach you the technique I call the Scrambler right now.
This goes out to Bobby Rio.
Bobby Rio.
Bobby Rio.
Bobby Rio, my man.
I love Bobby Rio.
Shout out to Bobby Rio, to Brett Favre.
Bobby Rio,
The dating coach.
You're a great teacher and coach.
thank you for the Scrambler.
Scrambler.
The Scramblers.
The Scrambler.
Man, I don't know what you've done.
Because you got Bobby Rio and Rob Judge. You guys are a couple of kiss-stealing, wheeling-dealing, evil geniuses. The Scrambler has made a lot of men very happy.
Hey, I'm Bobby Rio, and I've got a pretty important video for you today because I want to get to the heart of the Scrambler and show you how it's like a secret love pill at your disposal. Okay, this is a writer-downer. It's the core secret of the Scrambler.
A girl doesn't fall in love when she's with you. She falls in love when she's alone, thinking about you. If you can get a girl thinking about you when you're not around, you can make her fall in love with you.
If you can get a girl thinking about you when you're not around, you can make her fall in love with you. Write it down, tape it to your fridge if you have to, because if you really get this, it's like having the key that unlocks any door. I'll explain in 1 minute. See, I've been coaching dating and attraction advice for almost 11 years now. One of the questions that I always get from guys is, how do I make a woman really like me? How do I get her to fall in love with me? A lot of times it's a female friend that you have a crush on, a coworker you might be flirting with, or even a woman you're dating that you sense is losing interest in you. What's ironic is a lot of times we can get the women that we're not really into, but the ones we really like, why don't they ever fall for us? What I want you to do and what I want you to think about right now is the last time that you really fell for a girl, when you started to get obsessed with her, when you started having those thoughts like, oh shit, I think I'm in love with this girl. I have feelings for her. Maybe you're feeling that for a woman right now, and that's okay, because by the end of this video, you'll understand how to have her have those same exact feelings towards you. So, what is it? What was the sign? When did you know that you were falling in love? This is key. This is a critical element of what I call the Scrambler. The sign that 99% of guys and 99% of women first realize that they're in love with someone is when they can't stop thinking about them. When they find themselves talking about them to their friends. I coach a lot of guys. A lot of these guys, when they come onto a coaching session, or even if they come on one of my live programs, a lot of times the guy is there because he's motivated by one girl that he can't get off his mind. If you think about how much effort and how much time and how much energy they're putting into that one girl, and they're coming to us to get coaching on her because she's like an impulsive thought that he can't stop thinking about. Now, I totally sympathize with those guys because I was there. I've been there. If you think love is a strong word, we can define it however you want. But what we're really talking about is infatuation, where you're just thinking about her all the time. You just find yourself constantly, just the thought of her, you can't go on with your day unless you're thinking about her, unless you're talking about her. Every moment you're checking your phone, you're slipping her name into the conversation, even talking to people who don't even know her. Wouldn't it be great to have that same power, to have a girl thinking about you that much? Stick with me, because all of this makes up the elements of the Scrambler and why it's so effective. In fact, what a lot of my clients say after discovering the Scrambler is, wow, she used this on me. She did this on me. So let's get back to it. What is the first ingredient of love? And it's also the first ingredient of the Scrambler. This is very important to understand. The ingredient is to create psychic tension in the other person. What I mean by psychic tension is it's a tension so much that the only way to relieve it is to want to see the person, because you're thinking about them. You need to see them. You feel a compulsion to see them. You're talking about them. You're playing conversations in your mind. You're analyzing them. You're possibly on Google going, what did it mean when they, or you're on a dating forum going, she sent me this text. What do you think it means? That is psychic tension. And that's the first ingredient in love. There is no love without it. And for our purposes, it's the first ingredient in the Scrambler. Here's the kicker though. Here's the kick in the balls. The kick in the balls is that most guys do everything to relieve that tension as quickly as possible in her mind. This is because as a guy, our natural philosophy is, I need to let her know. I need to give her certainty. She needs to know how I feel. I have to lay my cards on the table. She needs to know that I'm really into her. We do things like being super available, for instance. If she asks us to hang out, we're afraid to say, no, I can't hang out this weekend, because we're afraid it's going to put doubt in her mind, right? We're afraid that if we don't text her back right away, it's going to put doubt in her mind. If she says something we disagree with, we're afraid to go, that's not true, because it'll put doubt in her mind. But here's the thing. That doubt is what she needs, because that doubt gives her things to think about. It creates psychic tension. Without those breadcrumbs of doubt in her mind, you're a sure thing. And one thing I can tell you about women, no woman wants a sure thing. You've probably been there. Have you ever gone on a date and it was the most amazing date in the world? You go, we connected and this and that, and I know she's the one. She has to feel the same way because she was laughing at all my jokes and we were making plans to hang out in the future and we just had this chemistry. Then you text her and a day goes by, 2 days go by, and that moment hits you in your stomach where you're like, what the hell? She's not responding. What went wrong? We've all had that gut feeling that something changed and we're not sure why. I can tell you what went wrong. It's that she had nothing to think about. It's like the end of the movie was already revealed. She knew the ending to the movie. She knew what was going to happen next. When a girl knows what happens next, she's got no motivation to continue watching the movie. Let me ask you another question. Did you ever watch a cat play with a piece of string? It may sound like a silly question, but it's the key to the Scrambler, the key to unlocking a secret desire, and the key to becoming the guy that women put on a pedestal and chase for sex and relationships. When the string's dangling above her head, just out of reach, the cat goes crazy trying to get it. It leaps in the air, it dances around, and it chases that little piece of string all over the room. But as soon as you let go of the string and it drops right between the cat's paws, a weird thing happens. The cat just looks at it for a few seconds, gets bored, and walks away. Girls are the same exact way. The easier you are to catch, the more bored and less interested she becomes. Simply because once a girl knows she has you, it's over. The minute she figures out she's the one holding the power, her attraction for you plummets, and you're more likely to win the lottery than to make her your girlfriend. It happens fast, sometimes within 5 minutes of talking to you. This is why a girl will go from hot to cold, or from wanting to kiss you to wanting to be your friend. This is why a girl that seemed totally into you will start ignoring your calls, is suddenly always too busy to hang out, or just flat out gets mean or unresponsive towards you. It's like she was disappointed the game was so easy and she actually loses respect for you. You see, it goes against her nature. She wants to chase you. She wants the dancing string. And the Scrambler turns you into the string that girls can't help chasing, even if they initially weren't that into you. The more the string dangles, the harder women chase it. You may or may not have heard Rob or I talk about the Scrambler. To give you a little background on it, a few years back, Rob and I, we were both sort of at a breaking point. We were we're both really good at teaching guys dating advice. In fact, they come to us, they pay Rob obscene amounts of money to go out, take him out for the weekend. He gets these guys talking to girls. He has students bringing women home that same night. Girls way out of these guys' leagues. Yet the thing that his students struggled with, and the things that I noticed when I was talking and coaching my students as I got them better at flirting and better at conversation, was when they met that one girl they really wanted, things always went bad. It just never worked out. So what the two of us did is we sat there. Over the course of 6 months, we researched and reverse engineered everything. And slowly, the secret of female obsession began to emerge and exactly what to do to make a woman decide to sleep with you and fall in love. And we knew we were getting close to something that would work every single time. If you're like a lot of guys, there's at least one girl you have unfinished business with. The girl who got away.
Great white buffalo.
So one more giant piece of the puzzle was how to make a woman chase you when she's already turned you down or you feel stuck in the friend zone, and how to sneak back in for a second chance and have her think it was her idea to pursue you. Turns out it was easier than either of us possibly imagined. I'll explain the trick in a minute, and an exact text you can send to jumpstart her into chasing you as early as tonight. First, I want to share with you how you can turn all of this into a system you can use to take a girl who's only lukewarm or even pulling away and have her begging for a relationship with you. I'd like to teach you some of it now if that's all right with you. And you might want to get a pen and piece of paper ready for this part, especially as there's a good chance you won't see this video again as it is scheduled to be taken down. First, let me tell you a big mistake I see men make. They think somehow that showing disinterest or pretending you don't find her attractive will make her want you more. But that just lands you in the friend zone or off her radar completely. And if you ever felt confused about where you stand with a woman, in just a second, I'll share my best tip for figuring out if she wants to kiss you. It works every time. See, there's certain things a woman expects to happen when she's falling in love. And Rob and I designed every step to recreate this feeling in her. Now, this isn't learning how to play a game. It's about understanding human nature and tapping into a woman's real romantic fantasy. For instance, a woman will always want what she can't have. It's not about hiding your feelings forever or turning into an uncaring jerk. It's to use something we call romantic tension to give her the feeling that she's slowly winning you over every step of the way, so that she's chasing you instead of the other way around. And here's why that's so critical. It's nearly impossible for a woman to feel like she's in love if she doesn't feel like she's earning that love, which is the real reason that confessing your feelings too soon backfires and scares her away. So every part of our system has her working to win you over and loving every minute of it. And it's all under the radar and completely bypasses her instinct to reject you. Here's a tip. Refer to her as a friend and watch how quickly her flirty and feminine side comes out. Write this down. Cats don't take orders, but they can be tempted to chase. See, what Rob and I discovered were there were certain things you can do that trigger her womanly instinct to compete, and it becomes a challenge for her to seduce you. It's all part of her fantasy about earning a man's love, so her subconscious mind starts telling her, I must really like this guy. We even found there were innocent phrases that bait a girl into chasing you, and you can even slip them into everyday conversations, even drop them into the text you send or stories you post to keep her thinking about you nonstop. And these work no matter how attractive a girl is or how many other guys are after her. In fact, Rob used these exact techniques to date Miss California runner-up, several models, and his fiancée Adriana, who's a weather girl he's about to marry. Now, one thing you gotta be aware of is there's almost always a point where a woman will slow things down or pull back her attention. Here's what most men never realize. 99.9% of the time, this is a test. See, every step of the way, girls will be testing you. And how you handle these tests signal to her whether or not not you're meant to be together. In just a second, I'll tell you the secret to passing every time. First, here's another tip. When you're with a woman, lean your body back as you talk to her. She'll automatically begin leaning into you. It's a reflex. She can't help it, but it subconsciously makes her see you as the prize. You see, the technical reason that a lot of these techniques work is because of one psychological principle. Women have a tendency to backward rationalize their behavior. So the more effort a woman puts into a relationship, the more she convinces herself he must be worth it. Her brain tells her, you wouldn't be thinking about him so much if you didn't like him. Now, if you use one or two of these techniques on their own, you'll notice a shift in her behavior. She might start getting closer. She might start rubbing your thigh or touching you more. But we found the real power comes when you do this unique set of moves in a very specific order that causes her to lose control and compels her to chase you into the bedroom. I'm going to tell you the exact moves in a second, and if you're wondering how to tell if it's working, earlier I promised to give you a tip that tells you when she's ready to kiss you. Here's how it works. When you're talking to her, wait for her to say something you agree with, and then gently give her a high five. When your hands touch, let your hand linger and see how she reacts. When she's feeling strong attraction, she'll almost always let her hand linger there for a second or two. Every one of the guys who've tried it said it's completely accurate and allows you to make your move without any risk of rejection. And like everything in the system, it's under the radar, so you're in control every step of the way. We call it the Scrambler because it's like an amusement park ride that scrambles her head and crowds out every other guy in her life until you're the man she thinks about all day long.